All rise. We will obey. Please be seated.
Thank you very much, and witness, welcome back. We are in open session, Mr. Garcia.
Go into private session for 3-4 minutes, Your Honor.
Private session.
Nous sommes en audience publique.
We're in public session, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Mr. Garcia.
Now, witness, you've stated that the burning in Turbo Town continued for 5 days. I'd like to ask you questions regarding Turbo Town Center, the center of Turbo Town. Were there houses that were burnt there as well? Houses or shops?
It was houses and shops also.
Can you tell the court these shops and houses in the Turbo Town Center, who did they belong to? What ethnic group?
Maybe what ethnic groups, as in plural.
Kikuyus.
What was the state of these shops and houses in Turbo Town Center that belonged to Kikuyus after the elections?
Repeat the question.
What was the state, the condition of these houses or shops that belonged to Kikuyus in the Turbo Town Center after the elections?
After the election, everywhere was distracted.
Now, witness, did you ever see police forces on the ground during those 5 days that you said that there was burning in Turbo Town?
Yes, I saw General Service Unit.
Can we go into private session for 5 minutes, Your Honor?
Private session.
Nous sommes en audience publique, monsieur.
We're in public session, Mr. President. Mr. Garcia, please kindly confirm that this is a public document.
Now, witness, can you identify what's depicted in this photo on your screen?
It is in Turbo Town, a place called Garage.
And what was this place called Garage? Was it a residential or a commercial place?
It was a commercial place.
Now, you see the photo before you. Can you tell us whether before the elections this place Garage was in the state that you see before you on the screen, on the photo?
It was not like this before.
How was it before the elections?
It was not destroyed like this.
Now, can you tell us by looking at this photo approximately when you think that this photo would have been taken?
I think after presidential announcement.
If you could tell us just the month and the year.
It is 2008, January there.
Now you're mentioning January 2008. Is there a reason why, in your opinion, it wouldn't have been February or March or another month afterwards?
Your Honor, perhaps before the witness answers that question, to make it easier for her, we don't dispute that the photographs that are going to be shown were burnings that took place during the PV period. So either my friend leads it, or they can just be exhibited.
Is there, if there's the same admission from Mr. Kinkagwa's and defense?
It's Kigan. We have no objection, Mr. President.
So then, Your Honors, I just need to establish, unless there's going to be an admission in that regard as well, that most of these places, or some of them, were Kikuyu owned before the post-election violence. And I can do that quite efficiently and fast in light of the admission that's been made.
Why don't we start one thing at a time? Do you want to then tender this document, or are you saying you will not tender it unless there's an admission that it is a Kikuyu place?
Your Honor, what I'd propose to do is just ask the additional question of whether if it was a Kikuyu-owned place or not. And maybe for efficiency's sake, I could just go through the photos. The witness can give us her answers, and then I can tender them in one batch, if you will, not under the same number, but different numbers, obviously.
No, let's do it one at a time. Do you want to tender this photo now and ask questions about it or not?
Yes, Your Honor, we can tender. I'd ask for it to be tendered right now. I just have one additional question afterwards on this photo.
The document would be marked as the next in the prosecution exhibits.
Le document KEN.
Document KEN OTP 00801215 public will be given the number EVD T OTP 00101.
Mr. Garcia, that was a picture of some ruins. Are there other pictures of the same ruins from different angles you want to tender? I see that there are other pictures in the bundle.
Yes, Your Honor, there are other pictures that I'd like to tender as well.
And would the question you want to ask relate to all of them together, or just questions are particular to particular photos?
There's some questions that will be general questions applicable to certain ones. I'm just looking right now. As unfortunately, there's not one question that's applicable to all of them. There's just 7 photos in all. With this one that we've just tendered removed, there's 6 photos that I'd like the witness to look at.
And each photo comes with its own questions.
That's correct, Your Honor, yes.
Then we've dealt with the first photo. You can ask your questions about that.
Now, witness, in regards to the photo that's before you, this place that you called garage, can you tell us who owned this place prior to the post-election violence?
Kikuyus.
I'd like to have photo Ken OTP 00801216 displayed on the screen, please. That's tab 4B.
Monsieur Garcia, est-ce que la photographie est...
Mr. Garcia, is it a public photograph, please?
The photos as well. Thank you.
What does this photo appear to show on its face, Mr. Garcia? Point being whether the defense would admit the photo for what is apparent.
I thought that admission, unless I'm wrong, was applicable to the photos that I was going to show, and then, unless I'm mistaken, for efficiency's sake, was an admission that these photos, and there's 6 of them, were all taken, or they show or they depict burnings or destruction that would have occurred during the post-election violence.
Is that the case, Ms. Legendra?
That is correct.
And Mr. Keegan-Katwa?
Yes, although on our part we would probably prefer that the location be identified.
All right,
So,
Mr.
Your Honor,
Ke-
this is the same location as the last photo. So we're showing the same photo in various forms. It's a
From different
perspective
angles.
of the same area, yes.
All right. Mr. Garcia, you want to tender this now, then?
Indeed, Your Honor.
All right. The photo would come in as the next in the prosecution exhibits, and then Mr. Garcia will ask his questions.
Le document KEN
Document KENOTP 008012110 public will be EVDP OTP 00102.
Witness, the photo that you see on your screen right now, can you tell us what is depicted in that photo? What is shown?
The houses which was destructed.
And can you tell us where exactly these houses were?
It is within town, Turbo Town.
And can you tell us who these houses belong to?
It belongs to Kikuyus.
I'd like to show photo Ken OTP 00801217 and 1217 to the witness, public.
Once more, the defense, you admit that these photos of the PEV, post-election violence reigns.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Keegan-Katwa?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Garcia, you're tendering as the next,
Yes.
your next exhibit, the photo 1217 also would be admitted as the next in the prosecution exhibits.
Le document KEN
Document KEN OTP 00801217 public will be EVD OTP 00103.
Look at the photo that's before you on the screen. Can you tell us what's shown in that photograph? What is the place?
It is Turbo Town, near Cereals Board, and I see destructions.
And it's the near the cereal board, CEREAL board. And the place that you see that there's destruction, do you know who that belonged to prior to the post-election violence? Person of what ethnicity, if you're able to remember that?
Kikuyu.
I'd like photo Ken OTP 00801219 shown to the witness.
Did you skip 1218?
It's the same it's the same place, Your Honor, but from a different angle.
I thought
Spare
so.
the chamber. We can see the destruction on the first photo.
So 1219, okay, Mr. Garcia, what do you want to do with this?
I'd like to have that photo as well tendered into evidence as a prosecution exhibit.
Defense?
Objections, Your Honor.
No objection.
The picture comes in as annexed in the prosecution exhibits.
Le document KEN
Document Ken OTP 00801219 will be given the reference number EVDT OTP 00104.
You see the photo that's before you on the screen. Can you tell us who this shop belonged to prior to the post-election violence? Person of what ethnicity?
It was for Kikuyus.
I'd like to have Ken OTP 00801223 shown to the witness. I'd like to have this photo as well tendered into evidence as a prosecution exhibit.
Any objection, defense? Counsel?
None, Your Honor.
None, Your Honor.
The photograph is admitted as the next in the prosecution exhibits.
Le document
Document Ken OTP 00801223. Public will be given the number EVD TOTP 00105.
Before you on the screen, can you tell us what is shown on that photo? What's the place?
It is a place also in Turbo, but after the garage.
Was it a residence or a commercial business place before the post-election violence?
Commercial.
And do you know what was the ethnicity of the people, or the person who owned this place?
Kikuyus.
One last photo, Ken OTP 00801225. Prosecution also has the intention of having this tendered into evidence as a prosecution exhibit.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
None, Your Honor.
Admitted as the next in the prosecution exhibits.
The court officer, document KN OTP 00801225 shall be given the reference number EVD T OTP 00106.
Now, witness, I see that you're looking at the photo on the screen. We can read Kobil. Is this the petrol station that you were mentioning during your testimony?
Correct.
And just to inform us, this Kobil petrol station, do you know if it was who it was owned by at the time, prior to the post-election violence?
The owner was a Kikuyu.
Thank you, witness. Just one last subject to finish your testimony. You mentioned that houses were burnt in Turbo Town, Turbo Center. Do you know what happened to the Kikuyus who were living in the Turbo Town prior to the post-election violence, after their houses were burnt?
They flee to Turbo Police Station.
Did they remain in Turbo Police Station?
Yes.
And do you know in what kind of conditions they were living at Turbo Police Station?
Yes. They were living in tents.
Can you tell us approximately how many people were there living in Turbo Police Station?
There was more than 1,000.
Did you personally see this?
Yes. I went there.
In what month of in what year?
2008, January.
I'd like to play Ken OTP 00330009 for the witness. It's public.
Monsieur Garcia, s'agit-il de la vidéo qui doit être...
Mr. Garcia, is that the video that should be played without the audio?
Your Honor, may we know why it's being played without the audio, please?
We just want the witness to identify the location, Your Honor. The audio is not important. And actually, when we first played it for the witness in preparation session, we played it without the audio, obviously, so it wouldn't be leading in any which way, since we wanted to see if the witness could recognize the location.
Is there a disclosure issue, Ms. Salakendra?
Your Honor, we say it is important that the volume be played, but perhaps we'll do it in cross-examination, and it may actually demonstrate something more to the court when we do so.
And that's why I ask you, is there a disclosure issue? So there is no disclosure issue.
It's not really a disclosure issue, Your Honor. It perhaps may be an ethical one.
No. Let's not talk about ethics now. The point is, you have been given this video with the sound and everything. And that's the same with you, Ms. Keegan Katwa?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Garcia, proceed.
You could proceed with the sound on, Your Honor. It doesn't really matter one way or another. If it'll satisfy the defense, I have no problem with that.
We will leave that to you, however you want to proceed.
Witness, do you recognize what's being shown on, what was shown on that video, the scenes?
It was Turbo Police Station.
Could you tell us, by just looking at that video, approximately when it would have been taken? What month, what year?
If I may say, it was 2008, January.
Thank you, witness. I'd like to have that video tendered into evidence as a prosecution exhibit.
Any objection?
And Your Honor.
No.
And Mr. Garcia, he will be tendered with the video, with the audio. That's the understanding.
Your Honor, I wouldn't have it any other way. It's just for playing it to the witness. It comes with the audio, one and the same.
The video comes in as the next in the prosecution exhibits.
Le document KE...
Document KenOTP 00330009, public, will be given the reference number EVD-TOTP 00107.
I have one final question for the witness in private session, 1 minute.
Private session.
Nous sommes en audience publique, Monsieur le Président.
We are in open session, Mr. President.
Witnesses, I informed you, Ms. Alexandra would now begin her cross-examination of you. Keep in mind what I had informed you at the beginning. Listen to her questions, understand the questions, make sure you do. If you do not, ask her to repeat, as you have been doing, and she will repeat her questions. Once you understand the question, then answer it as briefly as possible, but then giving the information you feel is important to give in response to the question, and then you stop and wait for the next question. Thank you. Ms. Alexandra?
Thank you, Honor. Good afternoon, Madam.
Good afternoon.
Madam, my name is Shamala Alexandra, and I will be asking you a few questions on behalf of Mr. Ruto's defense team. And before we proceed, Madam, I would like to assure you of a few things. And I want you to listen to me very keenly, please. There is only one purpose in my questioning, and that is to assist the chamber and the judges to arrive at the truth. The truth about the post-election violence, and the truth about how this case came here and why. It is not my purpose, Madam, to in any way make you uncomfortable or to disrespect you. I can assure you of that. And I'd like to add, Madam, is that we are happy to see you here, because we know that you have information which will assist the honours to arrive at the truth. Are you okay with that, Madam?
I am okay.
Thank you. Madam, the 2007 elections that took place in Kenya, it was viewed as the most closely contested elections in the history of Kenya. Am I right?
You are right.
And in fact, it was the first time, Madam, that an incumbent president faced a real prospect of being ousted from the State House through the ballot box. Am I right?
Right.
Madam, on the 28th of December 2007, the results of the parliamentary elections were released throughout the country, correct?
Parliamentary. Repeat the question.
The election results for the constituencies were all released on the 28th of December 2007. Do you recall that? For MPs, councillors.
I can't recall.
You can't recall the date, you mean? The results announcing Mr. William Ruto as the winner for MP of Eldred North, that was released on 28th of December. Am I correct?
Correct.
And I'm also correct, am I not, Madam, that Mr. Ruto was declared the winner and elected MP of Eldred North for the third time in 2007. Yes?
Yes.
And since 1997, Mr. Ruto has not lost an election, has he?
No.
And that is why, Madam, when you were answering questions from my learned friend about the tallying of the results, you said the winner was announced, and it was, of course, the Deputy President. And you answered in that way because he was the obvious choice. Am I right, Madam?
Correct.
And he was the obvious choice, Madam, because he was the favorite of the people. Am I right?
Correct.
Madam, it's also correct, isn't it, that Mr. Ruto, he secured the highest number of votes in the parliamentary elections in the country. Correct?
Correct.
And again, not to break your flow, witness, are you having difficulty with hearing Ms. Alakendra? I noticed that both of you speak with soft voices. Do you need her to speak louder, or are you happy with the volume?
I'm okay with the volume.
Sorry about that, Ms. Alakendra.
I'm also happy with your volume, madam. And madam, am I right that the supporters for Mr. William Ruto, they hail from all tribes, including the Luyas, the Kikuyus, the Luos, the Kalenjins, Kisis? That is correct, isn't it?
As in my in Turbo Town, what I learned, Kikuyus was supporting Kibaki.
In the for the parliamentary elections, who I'm talking about, the position Mr. Ruto was standing for, in the area, in Eldoret North, his support base came from various tribes, Kikuyus, Kalenjins, Luyas, Kisis. That's correct, isn't it?
As I say, there was another candidate from another party, which of course he has also supporters from Kikuyus.
So are you saying that both Mr. Ruto and Mr. Jonathan B had supporters from all tribes? Kikuyus, Luos, Luyas, is that correct?
If I may say, Ruto, as mostly it was Kalenjin, Luyas, and Luos.
And some Kikuyus.
Yeah, and some Kikuyus.
And in fact, madam, one of Mr. Ruto's chief campaigner is a Kikuyu, isn't he? Mr. Joseph Joroge Kamau.
Correct.
And also Miss Alice Wanjiku. She's an ODM official in the area, isn't she?
Correct.
And she's a Kikuyu, yes?
Yes.
And this is all in 2007, correct?
Correct.
Madam, when the results were announced on 28th, there was a large gathering that went to the UG primary school to listen to the results coming out. Am I correct, madam?
You are correct.
And both Mr. Ruto and Mr. Jonathan B, they were both present. That's correct?
Correct.
Madam, I'm going to play you a short video, and I would like you to observe what's going on the screen, okay?
Okay.
Video Ken D09 0036 0100 to be played, and the transcript, Your Honor, is at tab 20.
Is it already exhibit?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but do we have a bundle? Does the prosecution have one? I noticed we didn't get anything, maybe. Maybe it's just an oversight.
Yes, it's our oversight.
Pourriez-vous confirmer le niveau de confidentialité de la vidéo?
Please confirm the confidentiality level of the video.
Public, please. You may need some assistance with the sound because our video does have sound. And we want to play it.
Le greffe va vous assister dans la lecture de cette...
The registry will assist you in playing the video.
Why don't we do this? It is now 4 o'clock. We will adjourn and return tomorrow. By then, we hope that the difficulty with the system might have been sorted out. At any rate, it is 4 o'clock, so we would have adjourned anyway. Witness, we've come to the end of our proceedings for today. You will rejoin us tomorrow, and Ms. Alejandra will continue her cross-examinations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
And Ms. Alejandra, how much time do you expect to stay with the witness in cross?
And we were actually hoping to finish by the end of tomorrow, but given the fact that the prosecution took until now, we may have to ask that we continue a little bit on Monday as well. But we'll try our best to finish by the end of tomorrow.
Mr. Kinkatwa, so far do you foresee a need to cross-examine?
I do not, Mr. President, but I reserve my position until the end of cross-examination by the Ruto team.
Thank you.
And perhaps overnight, Your Honours could also consider if we can shorten the lunch break tomorrow. And hopefully we'll finish by tomorrow.
Well, we will look at that, possibilities. Right, the blind will come down and we will escort the witness out of the courtroom, but let's stay a little while to find out what's happening with the next witness for the prosecution. Witness, you will be escorted from the courtroom, and then the lawyers would have a little discussion about housekeeping matters, we call it.